Good evening. I'm here with the bishop, one of my great friends, uh, Bishop Pastor Reginald Celestin. And tonight we want to kind of dialogue on some things. And Pastor Reg is going to kind of share with us some of the facts of what's happening. And we're going to talk about a little bit of an kind of like an emotional reaction. Sometimes people have emotional overreactions. In other words, they overreact and they're not really aware of the situation. And so it's like this big emotional overreaction, and it's not based on knowledge or understanding. And I have a good pastor friend. He's been with the Lord now for a while. But he taught me something as a young man. He said that his name was Pastor Scott Persley. He said to me that you can't make decisions based on knowledge you don't have. And so it's impossible for me to make a wise decision based on knowledge that I don't have. So we want to kind of understand what's happening, and what is your perspective, Pastor Reginald. So recently there's been thousands and thousands and thousands of really desperate Haitians trying to come into the United States seeking asylum. I think that, they're trying to come for a better life. And so this has been a big thing, because we just had a whole bunch of Afghans come. We weren't even able to get our own citizens out. There has been a bunch of different things, in a sense, trying to kind of like invade the country. And I would like them to understand this from your perspective, because to me, no one can understand the Haitian situation better than you. And I say that because you're my friend, but I also say that because you stand out amongst your peers, and older people look to you for wisdom. And I'm saying that not to make you feel good. I'm not a feelings boy. I'm just telling you that that's the reality. I've watched it. I've watched you among your peers. I've watched your peers respond to you. So from your perspective, what is happening at the border in the United States?
Hi, Adam. So thanks for the opportunity to share. And yeah, so as you said, for the past, I would say couple weeks, we've had a whole bunch of Haitians by the border of the United States through Mexico. So according to what I heard, it's about like 10,000 people, even though I cannot confirm exactly the amount.
I think it's a little bit more, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. So what is happening is many Haitians, they try to find a refuge in the United States. But the thing is that many people don't understand, most of them, do not say all of them, they are not coming directly from Haiti, but they are coming from Brazil and Chile. I mean, these are people who have left Haiti like 2, 3, 4, 5, even 10 years ago after the earthquake. So they left Haiti when Brazil and Chile opened their borders for the Haitians to come, like easily. So you can just buy your plane ticket, and they will give you. They promise that they will give you a green card or your residency. Card. So this Haitian, they left Haiti to go there. So now, when they, after spending sometimes in Chile or Brazil, so now they are trying to find their way to Mexico, because it is said, and some people, they have made the trip. So they left Chile, Brazil to go to the United States through Mexico. So they succeeded. So now you got, as it is in our culture, in our history. So when we talk to other Haitians about some advantage, the same way it happened for Brazil and Chile, and now they heard that you can go to the States. So many people are trying to go at the same time, but I guess this is when now the United States of America, they are trying to stop that. So to me, basically, this is what is happening now.
So I want to just make sure that I understand this, so that also we're being really clear. So basically, when the first earthquake hit in 2010, the one that we lived through, a whole
Yeah.
bunch of people migrated from Haiti to Chile and Brazil. They opened their borders, they went there legally, and now they found safe passage through this kind of like this the woods area of Mexico, and they're seeking asylum in the United States. But so these are not people that are just coming as a result of what happened with the president's assassination, or people that are coming because of the earthquake. These are people that are simply coming for what, in your mind?
Um, they are looking for a better life. So they are not coming exactly, they didn't leave Haiti. I would say I don't want to be too, how could I say? I can say that I say most of them. I don't
Gotcha.
say all of them.
Yeah.
But I could have said all of them, but most of them, they are not coming directly from Haiti. And now, so even those they are interviewing now in the States, those who have the opportunity to go to the States where they give them asylum, as you said, they are saying that they've been in Brazil or Chile for 2 years, for 4 years, for 5 years. So meaning these are not people who just left Haiti like a couple months ago because of the assassination of the president or because of the earthquake that just hit the South Department of Haiti.
Yes. In other words, these are not people that are fleeing for their lives. They're just people who are seeking a better life.
Exactly. So that's what
I think that that's a very important thing, because I think that on the human side of it, we're all seeking a better life, right? We're all, I mean, for us, we're laboring for the life to come, and believing that we're building for the kingdom, and believing that what we do for Jesus lasts for eternity. So the idea that people don't want a better life is kind of dumb. We all do want a better life, and I think it's important to understand that. But I'm just trying to understand the situation, because what happens is you see all these people at the border, and then the United States gets vilified, like, oh, you're not going to take everyone in. And it's kind of like, well, what if 20 people showed up at my house, or what if 20 people showed up at your house, demanding that we let them in? Like, well, I'm not suited to take care of 20 people. And I know that sounds harsh, but that's also reality. Like, where do you put 10,000 people? Like, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, do you understand that's a small town? Like, where do 10,000 people go? And so now, if one of your church members comes to you and says, Pastor Reg, I want to migrate to the States legally, what do you say to them?
Legally?
Yeah.
No, for now, personally, this is exactly what is happening in Haiti. Most of our churches, even our church, the church that I lead. So we have many people who have left Haiti, and now we have a situation that is even more considerable than just leaving Haiti to the States. I live in Corfu, and our church is based in Corfu, where now many people who are working downtown Port-au-Prince, living in Corfu, but they are working in Pétionville or in some other nearby cities. So they are leaving Corfu to rent a house in those cities simply because it's not easy to live in Corfu and work downtown Port-au-Prince because of that specific part of the city called Martissan. Yeah, so people don't want to cross it every day because people are dying, they are shooting people randomly and stuff like that. You got a big migration from Corfu to Pétionville or to Delmas. People are just leaving Corfu. So most of the people are working. So many churches now, they are suffering from different members leaving the city to go and live to another city because that's where their job is. Then they cannot lose their job because that's what they are using to take care of their parents. So now you have a second reality. Some people from our churches who have a US visa or a Canadian visa, so with their family, now they are trying to migrate the whole family and move to the United States because the situation is really, really, really difficult. So for me personally, I'm not encouraging, like telling people to go. But if a member from our church would come and ask me, Pastor, I want to migrate to the United States, so I'm going legally, I have my passport, I have a visa, I will bless them. I will give them a nice prayer of blessing and send them, and may God open doors for them.
Yeah. Now, what if people want to sneak in? What do you feel about that?
Sneaking, to me personally, this is when the problem is, because it's a 50-50, 50-50 chance. Like, can you imagine those people? Some of them, they walk like 2 months. They left their house in Chile or Brazil for 2 months. Many of them died in the forest.
The wilderness.
So they died. Yeah. So I know, I've seen some interview of some people who have left. So they are talking, they walk on dead bodies. So many people that you talk to, if that now they live in the States. So they said that if they knew this was the situation the way it was, they would not go. And some of them, they said that openly, that they would not do it again. If it is something that they would have to do again, they would not do it again. So it's not an easy trip, like you just take a plane and then you just, land in Miami, in Florida. No, it's not like that. So you have to, first of all, you pay someone to pass you, and some of them, they lose the money. So I heard a lady talking. She said that she pays someone $600 for their three, the father, the mother, and the child. So as soon as after giving the money to the guy, they never saw the guy again. So that family just lost like $600 like that.
And they were going to come like illegally?
Illegally,
Yeah. See,
But,
that's rough, because there's no protection when you do things illegally. One of the things that I try to help people to understand is that if I break the law is not on my side.
Yeah.
Now, there are things that I understand that are ungodly, and I'm not telling anyone that they should follow ungodly laws, because all through the Bible, Moses's mom didn't kill the child. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego didn't bow down to the statue. Daniel didn't stop praying. Peter didn't stop speaking in Jesus's name. So I get that there are laws that are ungodly that we should not bend our knee to. But when we're talking about things that are not godly versus ungodly, if I violate the law, I'll use a simple one, because I'll incriminate myself. I like to drive fast.
Yeah.
But if I'm driving fast and a police officer catches me, I'm going to have to pay the price. So what people have to understand is that when you are breaking the law is not on your side.
Yeah.
And that's something like, here these people are, and it breaks my heart because they're so desperate that they're willing to give $600, which is a ton of money. It's a ton of money for some people, and they're willing to give that in hopes of getting somewhere, even though the journey itself is dangerous. And that's how powerful hope is. They will risk their present for their future. I mean, they will really put themselves in a dangerous position for the hope of a better life.
Yeah. And when I say $600, I'm not talking for the whole trip. So leaving Brazil, so they go through, I think that I've seen like the different path that they took. So they left Chile. You need to buy a plane ticket to go, I think, to Colombia. So or to some other countries. So they go through many countries before they hit the ground of Mexico, and then this is when the walk starts. So they walk for days before they can reach that border wherever they are reaching.
Yeah. So your sense is that these people are people who are not seeking political asylum, but they're people who just simply want a better life.
Exactly, because they are not, as I said, some of them, they already have a life in Brazil and Chile, like they are working. Some of them, they have a house or something, they have a life where they are. But we have something in our, I would not say in our culture, but in the mind of some people, even we call them diaspora. So even if you are living in another country, unless you touch the ground of the United States, which is the promised land, for some people, it's like you are nowhere. So everyone that we are trying to go to the United States. So even if you have a better life in Chile, you are seeking for better than the better that you have now. So That I don't blame, because everyone, that's what we all do. Like, I'm seeking for a better life for my children, so that's why you send them to the best school, the better school that you went to. You try to give them things that you didn't receive, so you are trying to build up to give a better life. So I'm not complaining, I'm not like blaming anyone to try, but at the same time, people need to understand that you are doing it at your own risk. You can make it. It's a 50-50 chance of reaching there, or you die. So I've heard many people who died, children died, the whole old people died. Some people deliver babies, in the wilderness, in the forest.
That's rough. So you're telling me that some of the people are almost going to America like this is a promised land, and yet there's so many Americans who hate America and who think that they're entitled to a whole bunch of free stuff.
Yeah.
Like, from your perspective, like, how do you, like, what is your take on, like, if you could speak to, like, if the 10,000 Haitians who are trying to come in were like, Bishop, talk to us, like, how would you encourage them? Like, what would you say? Like, what would you say?
For me personally, if you have reached that point, like you are under the bridge, so you are seeing America, you are seeing the promised land, you have sold what you had, you have sold your belongings, your property to go. So the only thing I could encourage and pray that they let you in, that's my hope and my prayer for you, because it's not time for me to talk to you about better promises and so on. So I can talk to people who are in Haiti trying to go. It would be another speech. So being under the bridge, that would be my prayer. I would, even, I cannot talk to the Americans and say, let them in, because it's not part of my jurisdiction of authority where I can say, let my people in, So, but I would always bring a message of hope, not just hope to go in, but to understand that your better life you create it where you are. So better life is not in a specific place. I know some people who are living now in the USA who used to have a better life in Haiti. Yeah, there are some people who used to have a good job. There are some people who used to make some money, because the good thing about Haiti is when you can make some money, so you are free, you don't have all these taxes, you don't have all this, like if you own a house, it's your house, you own it for real. You own a car, like I'll give you an example. I have a car, so I am paying like $50 a year for my insurance, for my car insurance, but in the United States, it's not even 1 month, for it's not even 1 month,
We don't even, in the United States, we don't even own our house. If we don't pay property tax on our house, the U.S. Marshals will come with guns and they'll throw me out of their house faster than they'll throw the Haitians out of the border.
Yeah.
They will throw me out of my house. I mean, you don't pay your property taxes, that's it. U.S. Marshals will come. I'm serious.
They
come and throw you right out. I have to go, but anyway, I'll have to flee to Haiti to go with you. But the thing is that I just want people to have an understanding of it, because I know that you have a real understanding of how this works. You've worked with the UN, you've worked with people, you're making your country better. You're actively through the gospel. I mean, together we're actively, we love Haiti. Like, my thing is, when people are immigrating somewhere, I just encourage it to be lawful, because it's really dangerous when you don't do it the right way. And then you're always looking over your shoulder. Yeah, it's really a difficult situation. And so my encouragement to people is, if you want to migrate somewhere, do it lawfully. Now, if you're fleeing a country because the Taliban wants to kill you, then I just say run, But if you're just in pursuit of a better life, I would encourage people to do that thing the right way, so that they're not looking over their shoulder, so that everything is legit. and so that they can build on a solid rock, not on sand. Because you don't want to build a life and then have someone go and take it from you and say, get out of here, you can't stay here. Like that could be a devastating thing for someone, you know. Like,
Yeah, and also
for example, I'll give you an example. Let's just say you come to America from another country, you know, and you work really hard, and you work for your family, and you buy a house, and you're here, and you go out and you're drinking one day, and you get caught drinking and driving, and you get into a problem, and one thing turns into another, you get into a fight, and then they deport you. Now your family is stuck. Now the family is separated, all because you didn't do something the right way. And if our government isn't making it clear how to do it the right way, well, then that's a problem on any administration, whether it's whoever. That's a problem. I mean, I think that America should be a place where people can come if they want to do it lawfully and legally, and if they want to contribute to the society as a whole. And I just wanted to ask your perspective, you know, because I know people come to you for advice all the time. You know, young guy comes to you, hey, I want to go, and you tell them to do it legit, and then, you know, go for it. But you would encourage people to not do it like illegally?
Definitely.
From your perspective, why?
As a pastor, first of all, let's say that you are married. I'll give you an example. Let's say that you are married, and we got some cases like that. You are married and you choose, let's say you had a US visa, and you go to the States, and then you realize that you can find a better life in the United States, and you leave your children, your wife and your children, family in Haiti, and you go and live in the States. So the first thing, they cannot come and see you. You cannot come back to see them because your visa is expired. You cannot come back to Haiti. So now you end up being in a position where one of your only alternative would be to divorce your wife and marry someone else in the US, even though if it is not like a legal marriage, it's just like business, whatever. But you end up divorcing your wife, you know, and leave your children. And
so you leave your children and your wife for money.
Exactly.
So then in that situation, what became God?
What we can get?
Money.
Yeah, no, I know. And secondly, sometimes it's very, very, very hard. So I'll give you an example. So let's say that now you are in the States, and you leave your wife, your children behind, and then something happened. Your mom died, and you cannot even come to offer honor to your mom to bury her, you know, normally, simply because you're illegal. You know, so now you got even some other situations where the husband is was in the US, and now they cannot stay in the US. Now they go to Canada because Canada is better on immigration, you know, to find paper, to find work and stuff like that.
Easier.
Yeah, easier. So now you got a wife let's say a husband in Canada, a wife in the US, and children in Haiti. So all of them, they cannot see each other. They cannot come together. The wife cannot see the husband cannot go to the US, and the children cannot go. They cannot come and see the children. So you are seeing the whole structure of family. And you know, whenever the structure of family is broken, the structure of the society is broken.
Yeah. No, I'm really glad that you said that, because I mean, for me, I just want you to share what you really see, because to me, my opinions are not formed by the news, and I don't have overly emotional reactions when I see people in a rough situation, because I don't want to sound calloused, but we see people in a rough situation all the time. And I want to think about how can we actually help the situation, and what is the truth about the situation, and how do we respond in grace, in love, and in truth, not based on some sort of like little video trying to make, you know, our country look bad, or trying to make a president look bad, or trying to make someone else look good. Like, I want to know what is the reality, you know?
No, here's something that I want to share with you. The thing is, you know, America, your country, the United States, they always claim to be Haiti's friend. you know. So they stand by Haiti, you know, Haiti's friend and blah, blah, blah. So it brings to the people mind the way a friend treats a friend. Let's say that you are my friend. Now I go to the United States with my wife and my 2 children, and I am fleeing some, you know, political situation. My life is at risk and stuff like that. And I jump one day. I mean, you know, let's say I got on a plane and take a Uber or a taxi and knock at Adam's door, talk. Adam, here I am in the United States, you know, with my children and my wife, blah, 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 blah. So I'm expecting that at least you open the door for me for one night. You know. So if you just said no, you cannot come in, then it's like, have you really been my friend? So people think that they think friendship, like countries friendship, like you know, human friendship, which is not like that. So for me personally, I always tell that you know, we know that they are not friendship in countries, they are interests.
Do you know that we became friends? I became your friend by that.
Yeah, I know.
So we were, let me tell the story real quick. We were at the border, we had big trouble. Actually, my friend Jay was watching it. I don't know if he's still there, but he was just, yeah, I think he's still there. So it was Jay, me, his wife, Prophet Jim, and we had a problem at the border, and some reason the guy who came to pick us up left because we were there all day. It was crazy. And it was me and you and all these people, and I said, well, let me call Pastor Reginald, and you had food on the table for like 11 people in an hour. And at that moment, the Lord spoke to me and said, this is your guy. And we've been working together ever since. And that was because you were responsive to the Lord and to a need, and you came. And I think about how much stuff we've been able to do, but that was a result of you being available. And I think it's been a mutual blessing to all of us. I think there's something too to consider as well. Like, I'll use this example. America right now is in a very vulnerable place as a nation, and any nation that think it can't be touched is delusional. So there's 29 signs right now that what happened to Rome is in the process of happening in America. And this transcends the president. Like this, like, yes, it involves our president now, but it also, a lot of it would be true. It really doesn't matter actually who's the president. This just makes it worse, in my opinion. Right? Maybe you don't share that opinion, but just hear me out. So there's 29 signs that America is in a legitimate crisis. Okay. So on September 4th in 476, Rome fell. Right? 29 reasons. I'm going to give you some of them. Rome had weak leadership. Citizens began to want everything provided for them. They loved violent entertainment. They had an obsession with sports. They were obsessed with sex, affirmation of homosexuality. They had sex trafficking. There was widespread promiscuity and rampant immorality. There was a loss of virtue. The church withdrew from culture as a force for righteousness. Babies were killed. Couples had less children and had them later in life, while hordes around them, like, for example, the demographic winter that's happening right now in Western Europe. Europeans are having 1.4 kids. Muslim families are having 6 to 8. So they will be democratically voted out in one generation with no violence. Inner cities deteriorated and had toxic water from lead pipes. That's in Michigan and in Newark, New Jersey. The number of government jobs dramatically increased. High percentage of the people on welfare. Taxes dramatically increased. Rome had a trade deficit. It had an increasing national debt. Money was devalued. Rome had its version of deep state politicians. Rome's leaders ignored their constitution. Intimidation and threats of violence were introduced into political discourse. Rome politicians made defense cuts. Citizens became self-serving. There was a lack of courage and a lack of manhood. Patriotism declined. The weakness of the Roman Empire invited terrorist attacks. The empire had open borders. Rome experienced class warfare. So that's 29 of them. And this list came from Bishop Jim Garlow. Now, on the other side of one of those, in terms of patriotism declined, you have the other side of that is American nationalism, which is not biblical Christianity. America is not ancient Israel, and the covenant that God has with his people is in Christ. So I want to just be clear on that. So when you look at all of these as a whole, there a lot of these things are the writing is on the wall. And I personally think that America is in a vulnerable place, a place more vulnerable than it's ever been. And when I see some of the things that are happening, I don't just see them, I don't just interpret them as, oh man, these are just desperate people. I also see that this is happening at a strategic time. And I think it's to bring the country to a breaking point. And I don't think just 10,000 people just naturally show up somewhere, like just all of a sudden, in my opinion. And then you see about thousands and thousands and thousands of people coming from Afghanistan all at the same time. So my thing is that I personally believe that there is an attack on our nation. I mean, there's obviously an attack on your nation when your president was assassinated. I'm saying all this to say something about nations and relationships, right? Because our relationship is based on love and Jesus Christ and the kingdom of God, right? So who's president, mine or yours, doesn't change our friendship. But if your country continues to deteriorate and my country continues to deteriorate, the work that we're able to do will be reduced.
Yeah.
Because that's the reality. I mean, we were there. You and I were going to do a crusade. We had 3 trucks. We had the money to pay for everything. We just built a basketball court together, and we couldn't even get past a road because a road was blocked. So the idea that if a society spins out of control, that it won't affect people, that's delusional. And I think sometimes people don't understand how serious some of the things that are up for grabs. And the truth of the matter is, Reginald, and I hate to say this, but this is true. America says that it's Haiti's friend, and that may be so of the people. But the government, our government, hurt your farmers. We sell rice to you cheaper than you can sell rice to yourselves. That's a huge, huge problem. So what happens is in our culture in America, and I think this happens globally, we want to address the inequities, but we don't want to address the iniquities. Mm-hmm. Like we want to address slavery, but I think the roots of slavery isn't racism or prejudice. I think it's greed.
Yeah.
And I think that many times in America and many times in nations and in churches and even in our own lives, we address the outward expression and not the deep inward problem. And I think that when you, for example, if you put money above people, then you'll sell rice to people cheaper than they can sell it to themselves. And if you put money above people, you'll do immoral things for money. And if you put money above your family, you'll leave your family for the promise of your family having a better life, when in reality, you wind up breaking up your family.
Exactly.
And I think that at the core of it, it's basically that money and mammon wants to be people's God. And I think until that gets addressed, you don't fix any of these problems.
No, exact. Because unless you identify really the root of a problem, whatever you are trying to do, it will keep on. You cut, it keeps on coming back,
Yes.
Because you don't address it to the root of it.
Yes. And I think that as kingdom people, we've got to be able to really see what's going on and address it. Like, for example, basically the United States is having issues with China and trade and deficit and all types for a very long time. That was one of the good things about the last president. He addressed some of these things. He wasn't a perfect man, but he addressed some of these things. What people don't realize is when we talk about that, we're not talking about the beautiful, precious, nice, warm hospitable people of China. We're not talking about the people. We're talking about a government and a structure that actually chokes its own people. And I think that there has to be clarity, because when we say that, well, we're your friends, I think the people are. But I think that there's people in power that are more preoccupied with their own interests and their own pockets than in doing what's right. You know what I'm trying to say?
I know.
But also, like, in fairness to any country, imagine if 10,000 people show up in Haiti, demanding that you let them in. I mean, I don't.
Haitian people, knowing our country, even if 1 million come, we would open our border to them, because we are too much, our hospitality level is too high. So, no, I can tell you, because even in the past, like our, how could I say, what we call our rich people, our bourgeois.
Yeah.
Some of them, that's the way they came to Haiti like 100 years ago, 150 years ago. So they came from another country, let's say from the Middle East, from Syria, stuff like that. So they came and we opened our borders. And for some reason, sometimes they are those now who are really walking over our heads. We open, we receive them, and then they make a life, they make business. So I'm not, they work. I'm not saying that they come and they took, I'm not saying that they are, making, so they work. So to me personally, a country is open to anyone that can work. You work hard and you get the fruit of your work. Like, I give you an example. You remember last month, like a couple months ago, right before the earthquake in Cavaillon, we started a soccer academy.
Yeah.
So these children, they come every morning from Monday to Saturday. They come from 6, 7 to sometimes 11 to 1 o'clock. By the time we prepare lunch for them to eat, they practice from 6, 7 to let's say to 11, and then they have to wait for the food to be ready and stuff like that. But yesterday, Sunday night, they saw the fruit of their hard work, because we were part of a competition of a tournament, and then we run the competition yesterday. So now they got the trophy, they got the victory, and everyone now is,
Did Cavaillon win?
Yeah, we won.
Nice.
Yeah, we won. So, and we were the youngest team in the whole competition. We got other, adult people come, older than them. So we are seeing that. And some people got really mad because this 17-year-old boy now, they are, and I have to tell you, we get the best goalkeeper, the best defense, the best scorer, the best of everything.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, but it's a result of hard work. They work, they get better results. So as a matter of fact, at the end of the game, for the last 5-10 minutes, it was like, sit down and we will teach you how to play soccer. The way they are passing the ball, 15 passes, 20 passes, and no one could touch it from the other team. So it was beautiful. So I never, try to blame someone for working hard and make a living in the same country. I know that I am Haitian. I don't care who comes from which country and come make better living than me, because they work better. So like, I am in Cavaillon, I'm a pastor, I'm a man of God. I pray, I believe God, I'm a kingdom mindset people. But I realized that I am not the one who's making more fruit from farming. Maybe a voodoo priest is making more fruit because they are farming more. That's the result. They harvest more than I do. They have more land, they work harder than I do, so they get it. So I'm not saying that. But the thing is, we always open. So now we are expecting other country to treat us as we would treat people, while no one asks us to treat them like that. We choose. So going back to what we were talking about, if there is something that is really devastating, is that the fact that these Haitians at the border, of Mexico and America, it's not the fact that they are kicking them out, they are sending them back, but it's the way they treat them at the border. So we've seen some pictures of, I don't know if it is soldiers or people from the United States, like they are walking over them with their horses. We saw one guy, they are pulling in the river, they are pulling it with the horse. So this is the pictures that are really devastating for Haitian people. But they know that even the people who are going, they know that it's a 50-50% choice. And I can give you another example. So there are some people that they put in a plane and send back to Haiti, and they are interviewing them at the airport in Port-au-Prince, and they are saying that if they have to go again, they would go again. So now they are going back to Chile or to Brazil. Like the government of Chile and Brazil, I think they are organizing some trips, like some free planes for them to go back to Chile or Brazil. So I don't know why, but they are doing it. So these Haitians, they are going back to Chile or Brazil, but some of them, they will take the trip again. And this is what America needs to understand. When someone is strived, when someone is their mind is set to do something, no matter what you try. To them, it's a matter of life and death. They will do it. But at the same time, as you said, we need to have the complete perspective so that the Haitian people can understand that countries, they are not, after friendship. It's not a question of friendship, it's a question of interest. Like, I'll give you an example. There are some countries, they don't need a visa. If you have a passport of that country, you don't need a visa to go to the US, because the interest is, and at the same time, the value that you're bringing on the table, So some people, they would never go and escape and leave to the US. But for some Haitians, people from Haiti, so they would do anything. They would sell everything that they have just to make sure that just to go and live in the US,
Yeah, it's really interesting because see, there's a whole bunch of every single thing that we're talking about is big perspective, because like there was pictures taken at the border, right? And
Yeah.
it was as if the guy on the horse was whipping people.
Yeah.
But the person who took the picture said that was not what's happening.
Yeah, yeah.
So the thing is that I'm not there, so I can't comment on it. But what happens is everything gets politicized, everything gets blown out of proportion. And yeah, were some people treated unfairly? I'm sure they were. But when you break the law is not on your side. And what's heartbreaking is to see the human side of it, that people are like, man, like, I want a better life. But I mean, if you're going to break the law, it's kind of like if I come to your house and break your rules and wonder why you don't let me in.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I understand and I completely agree. As you said, you break the law. But what I'm trying to say is the people going there, the people at the border, they know it. They know that it's a 50-50 chance. So they are not going like, let me in, you have to let me in. They are just taking a chance. So that's why they are taking the back route. Because if they had a visa, they would just buy a plane ticket and then just go, and take a plane and, and land in Miami or wherever.
Yeah.
So these people, they are going to Mexico, even though it's a small town where the border is, but their destination is not there. So they have relationship with some friends, some family who would just come and take them. Drive them, take a plane with them, whatever needs to be done. They will just take them to Boston, to Jersey, to New York, wherever they are taking them. So they have contacts. It's not like people who just go randomly and they just get there to the US. Now I'm in the US, what would I do? No, they know exactly where they are going. I bet you they have a phone number, they have a friend, they have a relative, they have a family that would come and take them to a place where they're gonna, still hide and wait until they can they can become legal in the United States.
So how does, if you don't mind me asking you, what, when you look at the situation, how do you feel about it?
I personally, from my perspective, from my own perspective, I am saying, I would say, for the first thing that I see is people, like our people, like I am Haitian to my bones, you know. So yeah. And you know me, I love my country. I love
Yeah.
Haiti. And I always say that I have never seen myself living in another country so far. I am 42 years old. I've never dreamed of living in another country. And I believe that I can make a living. I can build my life. I can build everything that I need to live normally, to live the way someone should live in a country. I'm believing that I can build that and live. And you know what I always say? I always say this, while many Haitians are leaving Haiti, so many people from other country, now they are building more. Like I even make a joke about it. I even said that some rich people, they would create the political situation to kick some Haitians out. Because let's say you were in Haiti and you had no value. You couldn't buy a bags of cement. You couldn't buy a ton of iron to build a house. And now you leave Haiti, you go to Brazil, you go to Chile, you go to another country, and you are able to wire money to Haiti. You know, we got about $3 billion coming from the US and Canada just to Haiti. And now we are having more billions coming from Brazil, Chile, and the other countries. So I would say rich people, they have an interest for us to leave the country. Because we are in Haiti, you cannot buy a bag of cement. Now you just go to Brazil, you are able to send money. So if I can kick you out, I would, you know.
Wow.
Because you have more value out than when you're in.
Oh so my God. You see, listen. That's why you're the bishop. You see that? Bro, dude, we got to get you a big ring. I mean, I don't think people understand what you just said. He's saying, listen to this, get this. He's saying, let me help the folks. Look, he's saying rich Haitians, right? Whether they're Haitian, Syrian, whatever. They're happy when broke Haitians try to go to the United States or Brazil or Chile, because then more money winds up coming back into Haiti through things that they own.
Exactly.
Like Western Union or the bank or whatever. And they're catching a percentage of that money. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Now you have, let's say you have 10,000 Haitian, 100,000 Haitian. They were sitting by the street. They were not working. They were not bringing any value to the economy of the country. Man. So now, because you leave Haiti, you are able to sell a piece of land. Your parents were able to sell something and send you to Chile. Now your mom used to live in a mud house. Now you are in the United States. You are sending money for your mom to rent, let's say, a 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 US dollars house owned by these people, not by we. Owned by these people. So I have an interest. If I am a rich guy, I have an interest for you to leave Haiti, because when you leave, you have more value. You are sending more money to Haiti. Bro. Now you are able to build a house. You are able to do a business. You are able to send your kids to the best school. So you then go and send. Boom.
You just dropped the mic, bro. Yo, honestly, I never heard that. That's powerful. So So now let me if you could there's a group of people that I'd like you to speak to, and then we can wrap this up. It's late. A lot of Americans, they could be Haitian, they could be white folks, whatever. When they look at the southern border, they have mixed feelings. They have feelings of compassion for people who are desperate. Some people feel like, man, our country is being invaded, and they have compassion. Some people feel mad at our government. Some people feel mad that our government isn't doing something to stop it. Some people feel mad that the government is letting people in. What do you say to the group of people that has compassion? They're troubled. They don't know what to make of it. What do you say to them as a Haitian pastor and just a man who's just wise? Like, what do you say to that? The people that, they're looking at it, they have compassion. and they don't understand. Maybe some people are angry, you know. What do you say?
I know compassion is a gift. People are suffering. You have the gift of compassion and you want to spread it out. You want to give compassion. And these people, they need compassion. They need compassion simply because they have left everything. And and the United States of America is built on that. Way in the past, it's like the United States of America is not built on true American. Even many people were calling themselves white people true American. One day they were in a situation like back throughout, 100 century,
Yeah,
100
exactly.
years, 200 years. They were coming from Europe, they were coming from Sweden, coming to find a better life. America has always been the life of promises, the country of promises and the country of better life. So that's why I have a friend who used to talk to me about the statues of liberty in New York, when the lady holds. So it's a sign that everyone is welcome. So you are welcome to the land and blah, blah, blah. But it's based on that. So even those who are now calling themselves true Americans, if you go back to your root, you will understand that it is not your own country. You came from another country and you built this country. And I understand. So
Yeah.
compassion is something that these people from Haiti.
If you want to even take it further, America is also kind of like a mixed situation because you have a genocide of natives and you have the enslavement of black people. And on top of that, we started this country on a war with our own. Well, not me because I'm Italian, but the British and the American, they started a war basically with their own brother.
So I know.
So this is the thing that I tell people. I go, you guys got to understand, if these folks will kill their own brother in Britain, what makes you think they're not going to kill a native, a black guy, a French guy, or any other Canadian guy? They wanted something. They fought for it. I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying that's what happened.
Yeah.
So now, so you have the problem with America. What's so complex about America is it's not one or the other. It's not like this place of hope and opportunity only. It's also rooted in violence, like every other empire. I mean, when you wanted to get the French out because they were abusing the land, you got them out.
Yeah, exactly. These people will understand the voice of violence. They don't understand the voice of peace,
Yeah. And we're not, and just so people know, we are not in any way calling for violence. We're just trying to understand through compassion, through justice, and also not and also not totally ruling out the rule of law.
Yeah,
because
you got it right. I mean, you break the law, you will be punished. So it's the way life is,
Yeah.
So even natural laws, you build your house where you should not. So nature will get advantage of you, so it's a principle. So as we were talking about compassion, me, my perspective, the way I see people. You remember we were together in the back of a truck and one guy was saying, "Blanc, go back to your country." And I told him, "You go back to Africa." So don't call me that Haiti is your land. All of us, we came,
Yeah.
So we are Africans. We're not Haitians. From on the island. Yeah. So to me personally, the people at the border, even though most of them now they are not at the border, so the under the bridge is empty because now they are, since they send some people to Haiti, they let some people in, so they have to see a judge to decide if they are staying or not. But these people, they need compassion for several reasons. First of all, because they are looking for something better for their life, which is exactly what every single person on earth is looking for. We are looking for a better life. And this is rooted inside of us. We are looking for a better life, so that, which is understandable. So the path that they have taken may not be honorable, may not be something that you should, you should leave them up for, but still they are there. And the second reason is the fact that some of them, they have lost everything. They left everything that they could. They sold their things and stuff like that. So having compassion for people like that, it's normal and it's honorable, but at the same time, your compassion should not lead you to a way like you don't understand the premises of law,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
yes,
that's what I'm saying.
but at the same time, I need to, if I can pray, I just pray that you find favor in the eyes of the judge. But if the judge decide to send you back to your country, it's justice. And I'm sorry to say that to my friends, to my, Haitian compatriots, Haitian friends, but it's life. You go, it's a 50-50% chance, and the judge decide that you are being sending back to your country. So you come back, you start working, and you do what needs to be done. So in life goes on,
Yeah, like we pastor a church. I mean, I pastor a church in the community. We got bars on our windows. We got 50,000 documented people in 1 square mile. We're passing out food now weekly, roughly, almost every week. A lot of people are undocumented. Not everyone, a lot.
A lot, yeah.
We hear the stories of how people get taken advantage of. And it's heartbreaking. And as the church, I'm going to feed someone and love someone and pray for someone and minister to someone. I don't care what paper they have or don't have.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you're not the judge.
I'm not the judge. My job is to love.
Yeah.
But people expose themselves by doing that in a way that often is harmful.
Yeah.
And so I think that we need to have compassion and we need to have discernment. And I'm not saying that about Haitians, or I'm just saying as it relates to even you or I as pastors, or you have a mission house, you can't just let anyone in your house.
No.
I mean, you have to use discernment and discretion. And if you don't feel good about someone being there, they're not going to be there. So it's a very complex situation. I guess my prayer is that my request, more or less, is that you would pray for us, and we'll pray for you in terms of how we handle these situations, because many Americans don't realize there's mounting crises taking place in America. And people don't know it. They don't see it. As long as people's bills are paid, they don't see it. Some people see it. I see it. I see the writing on the wall. And I know that it could really, really affect some of the things that we're able to do. And I'm praying that God would have mercy on our country and give our leaders wisdom and expose people who are in power unjustly, and expose people who use authority unjustly. And, we want to see a more just world. I mean, God loves justice. I wrote a book named Justice. I got a son named Justice. Isaiah 61, God loves justice. So anyway, man, I love you. Anything else you want to say, Bishop?
To me personally, if there is one thing that I would like to add, would be, as you said, for these people, we as Christian, we are not the judge. So we are called to be compassionate people, where we bring love, like the same way the earthquake happened in Cavaillon. So we as a church, we are on the ground with the help, with the support of many people like your church and your family, your ministry, and many others. So we are able to, serve the people. But when we bring the food to their house, we don't ask them what is their religion, if they believe in Christ or whatever. So we are in crisis. My duty is to serve, the people, but not to ask them where they stand with God or whatever, because it's not the point. The point is not religion now. The point is about everyone suffer. Church are broken, voodoo temples are down, everything is down, you know? So we bring compassion, we bring love to the people, the love of Christ. So to me personally, for the people now looking for a result, some of them are waiting for 15 days to get the final decision of a judge, you know. So now they need love, they need compassion. So I was listening to a 10 years old girl. She was saying that she would walk 12 hours at it. Imagine 10 years old. She has a younger sister. So they are, she got cut, hurt in her feet. You know, they walk for like 12 hours until the sun is down. They try to sleep where? With no mattresses, with nothing. And when they asked her, she said that they got to a point where her mother bought some lollipops, some cookies, you know, so for them to take the road. Imagine you go for 3, 4, 5 days without the normal meal that a child needs. You just get some cookies, some lollipops. And, you know, these people, they suffered for days before they can reach to that point. So for me personally, if someone has compassion, I understand the compassion and they need that, you know, they need that. But at the same time, we need to pray for them. We need to ask God to, you know, to whatever they did to forgive and let him be the one who is bringing, you know, his compassion, his love, and his, you know, the last word in that matter. But at the same time, for those who are sent back to Haiti or to wherever, so they need also to understand it's not God judgment over them. Like, oh, God doesn't love me, God judged me, how come they sent me and they keep the other one, blah, 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 blah. It's not a matter of God, it's not that at all. So it's just a result of something that you did, and judgment is brought to you, and thank God you didn't die, so you are back to your country. Yeah. You know? So you have a way, you have a
and the thing I guess what's frustrating for me is because first, as a pastor and as a missionary, as a Christian, you know, you have the human side. People are so desperate. I know guys that they literally were in the bumper of a car, and they came into a country in the bumper of a car, and they poked holes in the bumper for air to breathe, and they were in the bumper of a car. I know guys from Africa that crossed the Sahara Desert and people died on the way to get to Spain. I know a guy who was persecuted as a Christian who swam on the coast of Algeria to get to Spain. So I get it. I get desperate. I understand it. I understand why people do it. I guess the thing that is just troubling, I guess, is just what will be the result of that. You know, what is the end result of that? You know, it's rough because it's like, you know, people, they risk so much without a guarantee. Yeah. And then again, you know, when you break the law is not on your side. And so it's like, it's rough because you want to reap the benefits of a place, but you're not honoring the rules of that place. Yeah. But then the place isn't making the rules as clear, you know. And then anything that happens with America right now, because of our media, is overly politicized, right? Like you can't, let's say for India and Pakistan, you can't just illegally immigrate to Pakistan from India, and they're neighbors. Mm-hmm. So the idea of just doing whatever you want and thinking that you deserve to get there because you want to, it's not anywhere else in the world. It's not really reasonable. But for some reason, it gets overly politicized in America, as if the country is racist, or as if, and it's just like, bro, like your car door has a lock on it. Your house has a lock on it. And if I ask to borrow it, it may be better than me stealing it. Yeah. You know? And so it's rough because on one side, it's like you have this broken heart of compassion, like, man, like these people are desperate, and that stinks. Like, we don't want to see people like that. And then you do that because you're desperate. And desperation usually pushes people to do things that are often unwise. And some people make it, man. Some people just, they pull it off. I mean, you know, you know how it is, man. Some people they just make it, but it's rough, man. I know that a lot of people have really mixed feelings. I think that people wish that there was a more structured and just way for people to come and do it, so that they wouldn't have to feel like they're doing it the wrong way. That's what my hope would be for a more just and a more clear process of doing things the right way.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, I appreciate your wisdom. I appreciate you sharing. I know that you always bring a big perspective, your perspective of why rich people want poor people to leave Haiti. That was unique. I can always count on you for that. But anyway, man, I love you. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys, God willing, in January. And we'll be talking more about that. Maybe bring some people with me. And I'm hoping to see you in December in the Dominican Republic, man.
Yeah. So I am, from my hand, I am doing what needs to be done in order for me to go. So I'm just waiting. So let's pray and work on it. So we will be together in December.
Awesome, man. All right, man. Love you, bro.
Yep. Love you, my love to your lovely family. So I miss our vacation together.
Yeah, man. We got to get these countries in a little more peaceful state so we can,
exactly.
Or we may just have to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, love you guys. Send my love.
Okay, love you too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye for now.